Hi, you're watching India Post Live, India's first web TV news conversation. I'm Shivraj. You can also join in the conversation by logging on to our website, indiapostlive.com. Also tweet with us, #IndiaPostLive. The conversation today is centering around misogyny in democracy. Does misogyny actually have a place in today's day and age, in today's 21st century? Well, between Mulayam Singh Yadav and Narendra Modi, the big wigs of this election, it seems it's still par for the course. Let's take a look.
There has been one unlikely issue that has dominated our 2014 general election campaign, but it comes at a heavy price.
तो लड़की जाके ब्याह ने सिंह मेरे साथ रेप किया अब बेचारे को 3 को फांसी हो गई क्या रेप में फांसी दी जाएगी 3 लड़के हैं गलती हो जाती है.
The Samajwadi Party had earlier made headlines when their chief Mulayam Singh had demanded English be scrapped from parliament as it's a foreign and elitist language. Move over to BJP's prime ministerial candidate, and he created even more flutters by admitting in his election affidavit that he is married. He fought the last 4 election as a single, but tougher norms by the Election Commission forced him to accept his double status. Sadly, our women bear most of the brunt. The careless approach towards women has left people wondering whether these politicians really belong to the vibrant India that we believe in.
And that's the question we're really asking. Are these politicians current with the times? Joining us in studio is senior journalist Asha Khosa, and also from the Aam Aadmi Party, their spokesperson representative Richa Mishra. Richa, just coming to you. What is your first reaction to statements like this on a campaign trail where it's pretty clear that voters are looking for some direction and some sensitive approach to the issue of security for women, which is 50% of our population?
I think comments like this are, there are no words actually, being a woman, for me to say. And they are taking us back in age and time. And these people who give such comments, they are not in touch with the reality. In reality, things have moved far from what they think it is. So the present scenario of the country and globe is pretty different from what maybe our politicians are trying to think it is.
Okay, so Asha, it's pretty clear that the kind of statements we've seen coming out of Mulayam Singh Yadav, what Narendra Modi's done, Abu Azmi, it's clearly a sign of a very deep-rooted patriarchy that's not going to go away very soon, is it?
Yes, you're right. I mean, we are all shocked at these statements, and coming as they are after a euphoric reaction to what we saw, the aftermath of Nirbhaya, what happened to Nirbhaya in Delhi. And even after that, if these politicians have to utter these kind of statements to get votes, I think it's a very sad story on the state of affairs that's prevailing in India. Having said that, I often wonder whether Mulayam Singh Yadav will be able to say the same thing if he was contesting from New Delhi. Any of the Delhi constituencies where people are more what would I say, more not modern but more up to date with the rights of people, and also where there is more awareness about equality, gender equality, whether he would like to make the same comment. While we condemn Mulayam Singh Yadav for what he has said, nobody can support him on this. That goes without saying. At the same time, I think what he said, and probably he was cheered up for that in that particular meeting, that also reflects our ground realities. It reflects the imbalance in gender equation in the on ground zero. A place like Uttar Pradesh, no wonder it has one of the lowest indices on women's development, be it health, be it child mortality rate, MMR, education. Women are still struggling, and if these politicians are at the helm of affairs, people like Mulayam Singh Yadav, and women have far bigger fight to carry on. I mean, it's not easy when these people come to power. I wonder what will happen to the women who are there, It's very sad.
Richa, going back to this, so there have been a couple of polls that have been done, some, men and women on ground. It seems that what politicians are saying are clearly at variance with what voters actually want. So, we've seen large ads from the two main political parties making women's issue somewhat of a mascot issue, that they're going to address it. What do you think really is the gap, and where do you see some sort of solution coming out of this? Do you believe that they're serious about delivering on ground?
In the first 4 phases of 2014 election, Congress has fielded 10 candidates, women candidates, and BJP has fielded just 6 women candidates. And though, as I'm representing Aam Aadmi Party, I would like to share that Aam Aadmi Party, being a newbie, it has 18 candidates, 18 women candidates. So I would like to say that the oldest parties, political parties of the country, are not so much serious about fielding women. Most of the women candidates in their who are being fielded are women who already belong to the political background, or are the Maharanis or some bigwigs. There is like Dimple Yadav, maybe, I don't know what she does.
Perpetuating the family legacy through proxy.
So it is basically a dummy, which is happening. Maybe yes, some women are there, the stronger women, but they have come into the system through the patriarchal,
largesse.
Yes.
But Asha, so coming to this question, it's pretty ironic. We're sitting in a region that is being seen as the future in the 21st century. We've seen women leaders who ruling states, and despite that, you have this prevalent mindset. So, let's go back to what happened in West Bengal. In the last couple of years, we've seen horrific incidents, and it's still being ruled by a women chief minister. Why this disconnect?
You're right, It's not that woman comes into power and things suddenly change for women. It never happens. Even in UP, which we are discussing today, we have seen a woman chief minister. She came with a huge majority. Since she came with a huge majority, she could have changed the ground situation for women. But most of these women who rise to the top, even in politics, they tend to think more like men. They have never been, they have never acted as women as such, when they reach the top. Because there are few women at the top, and they would like to get equated with men. If men can do it, we can also do it. So they don't want to be seen as women. So overall, I think it's linked to the issues we are discussing today. It is the attitude of politicians, the leaders towards women's issues, and also the women's safety. How important are women's issue for politician? Is it only a rhetoric, or they just mean it? I think it's all linked to the deep-rooted mindset of Indian society, wherein women are not equal to men. Either they are the goddesses, you have to touch their feet.
So ironic.
You have to do
we
their
deify
puja.
women through our text, but we still don't look at them seriously. So let's get in a young potential voter. Lakshmi Venkatesh joins us via Skype from LSR College. Lakshmi, you've seen the kind of statements that are coming out during the elections. This almost misogyny during this huge democratic exercise. What are your reactions?
See, on some level, it is very difficult for us to come to terms with the fact that the political leaders who we think could be potentially the ministers at the top level in the country are the ones making public statements of this sort. And also, even those who do not make statements that are directly misogynist in nature, you see that even when they when they propose various measures to protect women, it is patronizing on some level because of the level to which patriarchy is internalized in our system. I don't know if it's because of the Indian culture, or if it's because that's the way women are treated in the world. But the sense in which women are looked at, and they're made to feel like they need to be protected, and like they're made of glass, and like they're gonna be broken if you don't take care of them, and making it look like they are liars.
Okay, we seem to have a technical problem. I think that's a very valid, statement coming from a potentially young voter. We saw after the Nirbhaya incident, a lot of young people of different hues coming out of the street and saying, we're going to end the silence. What can political parties do to really address that? Because we have laws in place. And now, of course, we have a newer law, which was the target of Mulayam Singh Yadav's statement. But what concretely can political parties that seen as progressive as yourself do now to address the issue?
Before I answer your question, Lakshmi has very interestingly brought out the global point, which globally 18% of women are holding parliament seats across the globe, only 18%. So globally also the situation is not very different. In India in 2009, we are ranked 108th and we are having 11% parliamentary seats. So see, somehow situation of women in politics is improving, yes, but it's not improving as in other fields. Also because maybe the nature of politics is such that one has to work odd hours, and there is when the campaign is going on, and then there is family and all. But in like, as there are so many women astronauts, going up in the space. And what about the
institutional mechanisms that exist? I mean, clearly, rather than bring in new laws itself, yes, I think there needs to be a complete rework of the institutional mechanisms like police, access to justice, on-ground support, right?
And along with those, it is important to people to sensitize, for us to sensitize the man folk, and also to sensitize women, and to make tell them that, hello, speak up. There is a silence factor, like Mulayam Singh ji has given this statement, and I think nobody from his family, Dimple Yadav is an MP, for
sure,
God's sake, she
absolutely
should have responded. She has not responded. I am very happy that Abu Azmi's daughter-in-law has responded. And so the moment women speak up, things become, till the time women don't speak up inside the family, outside on the street, in the bus or in the parliament house, people start taking them for granted and start throwing various kind of comments and actions. The day women start speaking up and raise their voice and don't accept what is being said, then I think that's the day when, and that started happening. That's why I said that there is a disconnect. Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav and the other leaders are living in some other age. But yes, what you are also mentioning, that there are two Indias in India, Bharat Absolutely. And India. So in Bharat, the patriarchal systems are existing, they are very strong, but still, this kind of statement is not acceptable.
So, Asha, just going back, and while Richa was, talking about today's day and age, over the years while we've been reporting, we've been seeing, remember Shahid Yadav's Balkati statement in Parliament. Now, look at Parliament for itself, right? Yes. Parliament itself is not representative of today's time. The whole issue of reservation, each party given token, promises about pushing it through. We've been sitting on it for over 20 years now.
Well, yes, giving reservation to women in Parliament, in legislatures, could be important, surely, but I'm not sure whether that is going to immediately bring in the gains that we are looking at. To me, it appears that we have to work on two sides. One is that we have to work in our homes. We have to change the attitudes of our men, of our women towards each other. We have to stop worshipping women. We have to stop worshipping them as goddesses. We have to start treating them as equals. That battle begins from home. It begins at my home. It begins at your home. One correction has to be started from there for a long-term result I'm talking about. And the second thing, and which is most important, what you talked about institutional mechanisms, that is police and judicial system. The justice system and police, they have to be made absolutely gender neutral. They have to be sensitized, over-sensitized, and over-sensitized to be and this thing has to be put into their mind that it's your responsibility to tell a woman that I'm here to protect you, I'm not here to harass you. The mindset of police and judiciary, that plays a very important role in delivering justice to women and giving them confidence that yes, what Richa was referring to, that women should speak up. But how will they speak up if they are not sure of protection they'll get from the institutions? Right. So these two institutions are home and police and judiciary. These three, if we start working on them today, maybe in next 20, 30 years, we will get the results.
So, just reading out some tweets that we're getting. Ankit Sinha saying parties like SP should be banned. If they can't respect women, then how do they expect a fair government in their rule? I think the electorate is pretty wizened up now, Richa. I think they see these leaders, like Asha pointed out, as addressing only a pocket borough. But at a national level, they're not going to really make it anymore.
At a national level, definitely they will not make much effect as per my understanding and my wish. But there is, the fact is that there is a certain population, the masses on the ground, who vote for rhetorics, who vote for these punchlines, who are swayed, and who worship these people. They vote for caste. And this caste system, I mean, it is so strong. So women of the same caste also go and vote for the same leader, whether they do something for them or not. I think there are, if we see, okay, the problem is there. Now the solution is, yes, the system should be, the outer system, the judiciary and police, everything, and should be strengthened. Women should also understand that if they are coming into politics, politics is about number game at the end of the day. And like, for example, BSP, in 2004, I have some figures, they fielded 20 women. Out of that, 1 woman won. Now 19 seats. So now next time, 2009, 28 women were fielded, 4 women won. CPM, 8 women were fielded, 5 won in 2004. And 2009, 6 women were fielded as MPs and only 1 woman won.
Quite sad. Now, 540 seats and you're fielding such a small number in single digits. We've got Lakshmi actually joining in on the conversation. Lakshmi, you represent Delhi University and you're from LSR. It's a microcosm of students from all across India. What have the discussions been in your circles about the entire issue and the reactions that have come out to these kind of statements during the election?
I would just like to add something in the context of women themselves being the carriers of patriarchy, because like ma'am was saying, there are many cases in which women turn a blind eye to the problems that they face in terms of them being women and still vote because of their caste identity or their religious identity, or because of familial tradition to vote for a particular party or a particular group of people, irrespective of what their attitude is towards the way women are treated. Now, as far as Delhi University is concerned, there is no doubt that since it is a microcosm, there is a misogyny to a great extent, even like within Delhi University. I mean, if you look at the way, for example, any LSR student would be looked at as somebody who is an overarching feminist, and whatever we say would just be treated as someone who is, overreacting to the situation. But at the end of the day, we need to understand that on some level, this sort of treatment of the situation is required for us to do anything about it, especially with leaders like these who make public statements like the ones that are being made.
All right. Thank you, Lakshmi, for joining us there. And thank you for that perspective, because you do represent a very strong section of the electorate that actually is speaking to the issues.
Sure.
But what will it take for politicians, Asha, to take these issues seriously? There seems to be a huge gap between the promise and what voters want today.
Well, you see these issues, what Lakshmi, what's her name? I forgot. Lakshmi, yes, sorry. She was referring to that we are the people of, the students of Delhi University, they are rated as some over-enthusiastic people. But I must tell her that this over-enthusiasm one day is going to percolate down to the villages. Our leaders will not work till people get awakened. Probably this is the medium, combined with the strength media has today, and the voice these students are giving to issues, it will one day percolate to the places where Mulayam Singh Yadav was addressing the way he addressed at the moment. So the whole issue is linked to education of women, to awareness about among women of their own rights.
Absolutely.
These are very, very basic issues. Until then, I think no miracle is going to work out. A comes, B comes, till the ground situation for women improves. UP for sure, I know. I also live in UP. So as a journalist, I have interacted, I have reported, and I also live there. The kind of attitudes people in authority, people in power have towards women, it annoys you to to the highest level. I mean, it's totally unacceptable. The violence against women, whether that happens at home, that happens on streets, that happen in public places, it's unacceptable. You know, there is a woman, a friend of mine, who is a teacher, who is a junior teacher in a school. She is a single parent. She goes to her senior officer, needs a leave to, her daughter is having exams. She needs to go and tell them that I need there is a leave, child care leave. It was a special provision, very progressive provision in the law that was made by the parliament. And the officer rebukes her, abuses her, shouts at her in front of everybody, and then she, with tears in her eyes, she comes out and calls me, says, what is this? What am I to do? I say, you go and complain. He says, I'll be sacked tomorrow if I go and complain.
So that's the fear.
This is the fear. And that
And
person
this is an educational
is a
institution.
It's an education institute, and that
It starts
person,
right at the
her
ground up.
officer is a doctorate. You know, he's some doctor, so and so. So that is the kind of, you know, men have these kind of attitude towards women, and majority of the women, they are not happy about it, but they accept it.
Yeah.
So that mindset we have to break.
Actually,
that
that's the
silence
problem.
we have
That
to break.
silence
Break
is
the
the
silence.
biggest-
But you know,
You have
Richa, just
to.
coming back to the idea of political parties having an honest discussion on the issue. So, you know, there have been reports that there's been murmurs within the Aam Aadmi Party as well. Madhu Bhadri, who's an ex-Aam Aadmi Party member, made the allegation that the Aam Aadmi Party itself is not addressing the issue of equality for women. What do you have to say to that? How do you have that honest conversation in large institutions like yourselves?
I think that might be her personal feeling, but there is nothing like that in Aam Aadmi Party. I myself am an Aam Aadmi Party member, and when I work there, I feel as if I'm working in a very nice atmosphere, which is like a startup, which is not like a political party, which I'm coming from a middle class background, and joining politics is something very, very crazy idea for any woman. I mean, parents will never allow. So, but when I go to my party, and I feel it's like a very, very professional atmosphere there. Maybe she might be having her own personal opinion about things, but in the party, women are there in at all the levels. Women volunteers are on the ground. If you see in our dharnas, if you see in Banaras today or Amethi today, women are walking hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder with the other volunteers, male volunteers, and we are having male volunteer sensitization programs in our trainings also, because people come from different walks of life.
Because, you know, I've got a tweet, in fact, and that was the point of my question, where it's directly quoted the founder member, Madhu Bhadri, saying AAP doesn't treat women as humans. Is that a fair statement?
I think it is a personal feeling. It's a big organization, and half of us don't know each other also. But it might be, we cannot relate it to the party as such. Party has Shazia Ilmi and Medha Patkars of the kinds, and so many other, Meera Sanyal. These are the famous ones. Soni Suri. I mean, Soni Suri is a face from Chhattisgarh,
Absolutely.
and it's our sure shot seat. Gul Panag is there. I mean, so there are a lot of women. I mean, there are a lot of women whom I look up to personally and want to be like them. So it's not like that. There are various programs which we are planning, and at the mohalla level also, to create women security groups, etc. So it is internalized. If someone is feeling something, you know, it is strictly personal, I think.
Okay, we just got Lakshmi again, still on Skype, listening in on that conversation. Lakshmi, from a point of view of a young voter, how important is it to have candidates that speak to the issues? Do you look up to any particular candidates that are right now standing for election?
It's really difficult for us to relate to any of the candidates, especially when it sort of disillusions you with the entire system when there are leaders of such, great stature who make statements like this in the public. I mean, I know for a fact that there are a lot of people within the university and other people I know out.
All right, we seem to have lost Lakshmi. Now, Asha, you know, those posters that you see of the BJP's election promise, you open your newspapers. The last couple of weeks you've seen, you know, Narendra Modi in the middle, and we will protect you, women, we will do this. How does that sit with you, given that he himself had to be sort of mandated to announce that he was married.
In fact, this was to me as a voter and as a journalist, when Modi admitted for the first time in public that he is married, I was shocked. I mean, until now he had been hiding it, at least publicly, had not been admitting it that I am married to a person. Imagine a lady who has been just sitting, doing nothing, waiting for a person to accept her as his wife. A lot of people are saying that this is Modi's private affair and this happened in a particular social context, it should not be discussed.
But then the private becomes public if the attitudes
Sure,
to women,
definitely.
the way they're being demonstrated. So there's an
Definitely.
insincerity, right? A gap.
That is a huge insincerity. And also a person who's wanting to be the Prime Minister of India, we have to see how he treats women in his life, how he treats
In
his
his personal
family.
space.
Yeah, how that's
His
very
own mother,
important.
remember? The
His
kind
own-
of relationship he has with her.
When he goes symbolically, goes to his mother, touches her feet before filing his nomination, we all feel good about it. At the same time,
But is
when
that
we know-
symptomatic of a certain masculinity now associated with a party like the BJP? The whole idea of you having given up all this. How does that bode for the party in terms of where it's heading?
See, in this Narendra Modi's case, as his family has publicly announced that because he went to the Sangh, he became a pracharak, and it's mandatory for them not to remain, celibate. So that is the aspect the family is trying to emphasize, and they're trying to say that you don't rake up his past. But at the same time, my question as a voter to Narendra Modi is, why you did not, formally dissolve that marriage? Set that lady free, who is still your wife. You are now admitting after 50 years or so, yes, she was my wife. What kind of Prime Minister you're going to be? What kind of leadership you're going to give to the women of this country who are still struggling to get their basic rights?
And the basic rights, Richa, really come back to recognition of you as a single individual, right? So for instance, under HUF, women still, while on paper, are due inheritance. You have, Mulayam Singh Yadav saying, English and the West. But closer home, in Nepal, for instance, now it's mandated under law that under HUF, if you do give inheritance to women, you get a tax break. Why can't that happen in a country like India?
Nepal is, I think, ahead of us. They have 33% representation in their parliament. So they are, see, law-making bodies are making laws in India also. There is a tax exemption in India also. But whether it is practiced or not, it's
not implemented.
Women, sisters will not ask for property. If they ask for property, they are not good sisters.
Good sisters.
And sometimes also women's individual rights are always bound by the husband's and father's name in affidavits, government affidavits. So really there has to be an overhaul of the entire outlook and ethos, right?
I'm remembering, there is a writer in Hindi, Nirala, and he wrote a book on Urmila. See, we all know about Sita, that she left everything for Ram, and then Ram asked her to leave and she went back to the forest. The situation has not changed. Women's mindset is still same, and people's mindset, the Indian men's mindset towards women is same. And Urmila, who was not at all, nobody thinks about Urmila actually, and Nirala ji wrote about Urmila and her situation, and she was a very strong lady in that one of his books. The point is that currently also the situation of women themselves first are responsible for this, I feel. And education is not helping. Because at home they are accepting, and it starts from home. Everything starts from home.
So last words from you, Asha, and thank you so much, Richa. But what will change the narrative?
I don't know.
Okay.
Frankly, it's such a complicated situation, whether education is
Deeply
going to change.
entrenched.
Yeah, see, in South Delhi, we have one of the highest, a very good literacy rate, I think, and still we have the highest occurrence of female feticide.
Yes.
So this is contradictory. What is going to change the situation? Whether
I would like to just add to this.
I think we could keep discussing this, but we're running out of time. So last comment.
It can change only if some women become role models for the younger generation. When I was a child, I used to idolize Indira Gandhi. And though now I'm in a different party for different reasons, but If there are people out there like Medha Patkar and you know, whom we can look up to and say that yes, okay, so young generation need role model, whether male or female, they need their respective role models. Women should come out in all walks of lives. There are Kalpana Chawlas in the world, and the young kids are saying that I want to be like Kalpana Chawla. That's how. So the current generation should try and focus, do their bit, and then the younger will
so
follow,
on that
I
note,
think.
let me give Lakshmi the last word on the show. You know, Richa saying here that the young generation need to create their own role models. Do you agree with that?
I'd just like to make 2 points here. One, I don't know how far having role models is gonna, change things on the ground level, because at the end of the day, what we need to tackle is that
Okay.
Changing stuff in terms of ideology or what the way people think is not enough.
Okay.
And additionally, I also would like to say that if we have
All right. I think we just have a
can
problem
answer
getting
this.
Lakshmi to say her last few words. But I think that's a very, very key point that Lakshmi's made, that we do not just need role models, but
Yeah.
action on the ground.
Action
Do continue joining in on the conversation by logging onto the website and share your comments on indiapostlive.com. Also continue tweeting with us, #IndiaPostLive. Thank you for watching.